Attention gamers. This is why League of Legends is bad for your mental health if you're a trash player. The other day I was just playing Caitlyn mid with my assassin outfit on, farming worse than a drunk deceased old MacDonald when I saw an entire incest convention taking place bot where 5 people were working their hardest to find the dick on Cled's rooster. Rather than realizing that no one would be around to stop me marching butt ass naked down mid into their base, I opted to play League of Legends the team deathmatch instead. I introduced myself as she who killed the little kangaroo cuck only to get cock blocked by his little douchey dismount.
Bruh.
No problem, I will just fire an ace up the anus of that top hat.
Bruh.
Only a greedy flash could fix this situation to get me a kill. Okay, so recently Pianta, the love of my life, made a video on getting the fattest one auto attack on an ADC with Duskblade, but Riot with their brains so scrambled they could put it on toast and call it a breakfast sandwich, rework the item into something that features more bullshit than a male cow's asshole. So today I figured I would test the new power of an auto on ADCs like the Mall Cop. Tyler 1 and Miss Perky Tits to see if a one-shot is still possible. This video is sponsored by Z League, more on them later. Alright, so game 1 I was up against the Ginger Spin Tits, and being an assassin 1v1 with an ADC is like trying to cure gonorrhea with an ice cream cone, so I figured the first donation to fund my Make a Fed one-shot auto attack foundation would be better off coming from this soy stick bird breeder, so that's how we started. Then I'm like a Bernie Sanders Ted Bundy bastard baby where I'm all for an equal distribution of homicide, so I head to the opposite corner of this torture simulator of a rift thinking if Pike can yo-yo one of those shitters back to us, maybe I can be the last one to right-click them and thus profit. At this point I'm thinking I need to get home, the cat is running wild and my dog probably needs to take a shit, but the guy who has pronouns for all his weapons gets sleepy, so I nab a few nickels from him while I'm in town. Hey guys, it's me, the mid laner who is never mid again, because this bird relies on its little sonar orgasm ability instead of basic wards to see when a frail Piltover Mall Cop is patrolling, so I come in and get in a rigorous right click off while Cho'Gath contributes by trying to get his own dick out of his fleshlight, but turns out he wasn't needed after all. At this point I have the Blade of Dusk, which means every time this soulless ginger wants to touch one of my hooded midget employees I can shoot a Q into Timbuktu and then use the item execute to hit a diabetically fat ult to kill her off. I head back bot because the only wards in these shitters' lives are the ones they get to visit twice a month to see their alcoholic mothers, as I hit a flawless combo on the one who looks like he got stuck in a toaster when he was a child, and then I start to peace out, protecting my KDA like my personality protects my virginity, but like a true solo queue player. Once it looks like a paycheck will be involved, I return to the scene littered with my co-workers' corpses to cop myself a bag big enough to prime me a PS5 later. Quinn is up top looking like a lost clueless little cock waffle, and while my brain still hasn't fully downloaded the accuracy application, I can jam my greasy hands on my right click button long enough to get more kills. I'm finally feeling confident enough to be alone with this ginger, tell her that Vi really changed the way I feel towards other girls and how the way she spins makes me feel a certain way, but I guess I don't have the riz to hit on chicks without them trying to kill me, so I had to pucker my own asshole and get bailed out by a budget Bambi instead. Anyways, I was 10 and 2 just like how they taught me in driver's ed, even though we all know once you get your license that turns into 12 and penis, but this had me fed enough to test a one-tap combo, which had me optimistic that 1 or 2 more items we would be there, but in true League fashion my trip to Fun Town got cancelled by a group of pimple-faced dog fuckers, so it was time to try Marksman numero dos. I figured if I played this blue ball juggling hibachi chef I could just run at any of the metacock goblin mid laners, and it would have worked perfectly if a Master Yi wasn't in the area molesting chickens at the worst time. But the second I came back I just had to wait for that Samsung Galaxy tadpole to start purple puking on my midgets, and I would just walk up, chuck a few hibachi chef knives at him, and bam, best mid-game pick alive. And that was all a solo mission with just my own hands, like most of you are probably used to, so you can imagine when I actually got some help from other people how easy it became. Anyways, one of the Navi from that blue people Pandora Avatar Island fell in a mud puddle, and now she's trying to way of the water tentacle fuck everyone who tells her she smells like shit, and I'm not trying to exist on the same rift where people are being rude like that, so I grab my fucked up staff wielding dog and we try to kill her. The situation gets more sus than when they made green and blue ketchup that one time, but I get the uncoordinated kill and definitely don't die right after. Oh, it's just you left on this black fade out? Z-League is a free social media app for gamers and you can get 500 coins on the site just by downloading it with my link in the description. Anyways, this sweaty kid on Yi is one of those League players who is so obsessed with me you'd think I was a picture of Pokemon's feet, but he's not willing to take on towers for those toes, so he pieces out while this cosmic sperm cell is over here slurping up that shit like a slushie. The golden booger and his pet python are now pissing off in my lane, so I come in ready for a dick measuring contest until things get a bit crowded, so I back up and do a disgusting amount of deeps to these shitters, all while upright Clifford comes in to help me finish off Mucus Man. We proc his mitosis while Asal is over here like, don't worry, I got this guys. But I'm a sweaty silvery low sex deprived dumb shit who plays League, so I can't just take the win and push an objective. I have to get an idea that's more twisted than a contortionist with a cock up their ass, but like, what's the worst that can happen if a Master Yi gets a fat shutdown, you know? At this point I have 2 items and I can't speak for how much my auto attacks were doing, but my ult was calling in sick to work and fucking all the single moms at the food court, if you know what I'm saying. Tentacle Tino is demonstrating why Tyler 1 has turned his stream into the most boring one champ snooze fest ever, because Riot introduced a champ 6 times as strong as every other one, but I was fed, which in this case meant she was dead. This astral asshole was continuing to be more clueless than a cat turd sitting for the SAT, and I know the video is about 1 auto, but at this point I could kill in just 2. And just to double down on demonstrating that he was rocking a room temperature IQ, he just kept floating and thinking he was gonna do anything except for get hibachied in my presence. So long story short, this game turned into an Asal genocide where I kept dying right after to slither tits, but the way League typically works for me is I can kill some dumb sack of shit 30 times, but the first time he kills me it results in their top lane juggernaut Giga Smurf Turbo Virgin who literally sweats Lay's potato chip grease out of their pubeless armpits when they play carrying the game, and thus the Draven experiment was concluded. Round 3 I put the push-up bra on a pirate and went locked in this M-Fair. I was up against Bird Hitler, but at level 1 I knew the Aryan race wasn't gonna have much going for them, so I just walked my Jingle Bell rock ass over there and right-clicked him until he disappeared. Then I went bot because 6 minutes into the game I knew these shitters would have the best ahegao expression on their smug little faces when they saw me coming in the back door, so I put Counting Dracula back in base, and then I stuck around long enough for the colorful caribou to come down trying to save the day. I told Bambi there's a reason your mom left you, you dumb bitch, which was the last thing she heard before a toddler dressed like Thor pinned her to a wall and I killed her. I kept coming bot because these kids were like a bunch of bumbling idiots trying to catch a fly with a fork, and it was free kills on the 4 whore all day. The dead dock worker kept trying to salvage the situation, but it just resulted in me being on a big-titted rampage. We eventually got them clinging to their tower, worse than 2 protesting libtards fighting for some pointless cause like Wheatgrass's emotional well-being, so I nuked the bald one, which sent his friend running straight into my coworker's arms to be killed. And yeah, I may have spent a lot of time bot, but the Shuriman shithead was by no means having a good time up here. Harambe, who was my team support by the way, in case you are questioning just how low my piss pit ass is stuck in, was having fun hunting local game while I personally loved playing I don't need to see you in that bush to shit in your mouth. Before you know it I was unstoppable. Then I was dominating this build and roaming around the map like a murdering nomad with double Ds, even had some people saying I was godlike. The new Duskblade took a nerf gunshot right to the family jewels when it comes to auto attacks, but goddamn did it make my ult burn like a gooch ridden with AIDS herpes, and all the enemy Jin wanted to do was shut me down, but unfortunately for him he was a useless fuck. Pro tip: if you stand right here and wait, a number mumbling moron will walk by, try to kill you, and then give you a fat sack of cash. My dickweed teammates were still finding ways to die to these basement-dwelling feeders, but I was more concerned with bursting birds and showing that MF flashes are the prettiest. I was a tad bit afraid of Olaf, considering the man is willing to literally light himself on fire to stick it to ADCs, but the right-click chicks in this one were just too strong. Anyways, now was as good as ever to try and get my one-shot auto, or else I will be banished to the realm of clickbaiter and have to face the consequences of some 12-year-old being slightly upset at me, and so here was what I got. Yeah, that was it. Bottom line, this build sucks a little dick now in terms of auto attacks, but maybe Dark Harvest and some execute type of bullshit could make it fun. Ravi Davi, I hate League of Legends outie.